Yesterday I purchased this 40-inch touchscreen digital signage display. Now this is made by Friendlyway, which is a German company. Features stereo speakers on either side, weighs about 50 kilos and comes with a supposedly 10-point multi-touch display. Now this also has a little PC in it, which is of actually fairly reasonable spec. So it's a Core 2 Duo at 2 GHz, T7200 as you see there, and it's also got 2 GB of RAM and a 70 GB hard drive. Now the touchscreen on this really does sort of work. If I just press there, you can see, and if I just move over to the start menu here, the start menu comes up. So from what I gather, the touchscreen on this uses a serial bus, as you can see on the control software there, it has a COM1 option for it. This also appears to have other sort of display functions other than the computer, so picture-in-picture through other sources. Now in opening this up, I've only found a VGA cable, although it looks like there are other input sources for this display, which is really rather nice. Now, as I stated, this does weigh an awful lot, and as you can see, it's really quite a thick device there as well. So you can see there is a lot of metal in this, and it is incredibly heavy to lift. And actually, if I just pan the camera around here, you can then see the computer in there with its Core 2 Duo label, and it is actually quite a nice, really sort of compact compact PC, a bit like an Intel NUC. So it is a very, very nice little thing. Now, this computer is actually probably worth more than I paid for this entire device, which is really very nice. But as I said, this thing is really incredibly heavy and very, very hard to lift. Certainly, there's no flex in this at all. You could stand on this without really having to worry about it flexing at all. It really is pretty much indestructible. But I mean, nonetheless, the touchscreen on this is, sorry about all the backlight, but the touchscreen on this is really very nice. So you can see it is mostly pretty responsive there, and this will be designed for use with very, very large menus, being a sort of digital signage display. Intended, I think, actually for when you have those shopping centres, the sort of shopping centre greet devices that have the sort of floor plans, and when you can tap on like where you want to go and it'll give you directions and stuff. So it's not really designed for fine Windows use. This is running Windows XP, which scaling wise really was not very good. So now this is what the back of the digital signage display looks like. The 3 circular holes on the back here are all fan ventilation to blow air on this, because with bright sun, say, firing onto the front of this, the panel will get quite warm inside, and in fact actually around the case on the sides, on the top and the sides, are also sort of ventilation slits as well. And if we just move over to the underneath, with it mounted vertically, we sort of have access to the computer now. So you can see there is the computer mounted there, and as you can see from the front of it, it is really quite a small computer, and it actually doesn't go, its sort of width is not much sort of longer than the front that you can see now. Furthermore, cables are quite neatly arranged along sort of holders, and just the general wiring quality looks to be very good. Now this unit is held in by hexa head screws, so I'm looking into some sort of screwdriver so that I can take the back off this. Now further on the side there, you can see there's a little power jack, which when you plug that in, some of the fans sort of begin to spin a little, kind of quite quietly, but sort of noticeably running. But then, like I said, this will be running a shopping centre, so any noise this does make will be somewhat overpowered by the noise of people. The only other thing on the back of the device are a whole array of sort of screws to presumably mount this stably, because with such a large amount of weight, you would not want to mount this sort of flimsily. Aside from that, that's pretty much all the back. Now the computer is held in by Allen key type screws in the holes there, and 2 on the other side there as well. So it was just a simple case of undoing those, and then the computer pretty much just comes straight out, so almost like a toolless bay on a computer. So then this is what the computer looks like from the front. So you can see we have a power button, a DVD rewritable drive, which is quite surprising, and 2 USB ports alongside that Core 2 Duo sticker that I said about, and we can see the mounting bracket. And then as we go to the back, there is a wide variety of ports. We've got the 19 volt input there, DVI, which then goes to a DVI and VGA splitter, serial port, Ethernet, 3 more USB ports I think, and then the usual sound jacks. And actually that port there is actually a Firewire port, not a USB one. This PC also comes with a laptop style 19 volt DC power brick. So now that we've got the computer out of this unit, we can see a little bit more. So there is a LAN jack there, which then actually just connects to a Cat5 cable, which would plug into the back of the computer. And I mean, the reason for going to all that effort is, of course, otherwise the LAN jack would be way back in the case here, so you wouldn't be able to easily connect it. There is also this cable which I spoke about. So there is the DVI to DVI and VGA converter, and then that connects to this VGA cable, which then connects to the panel. There is also a USB cable here, which might have something to do with the touchscreen, and there's also a serial cable there, which I'm pretty certain does most of the touchscreen stuff. Now if I just squeeze in the back here, there is also a standard audio jack for feeding the speakers. So here is the computer now sat on top of my laptop. You can see once again the sort of laptop style power brick here, made by Delta Electronics. And then there is the PC itself. Now like I said, it's really small. It's a really small computer and I really quite like it actually. And apart from that, I've just got it connected up to a VGA port monitor, mouse and keyboard, and I've also plugged it into network. So now if I just plug that, so if I just do the power switch there, you can see it comes on and it does make a little bit of a noise. Now usually it comes up with a sort of Intel logo, but this has Windows XP on it. It came with Service Pack 2, but I've upgraded it to Service Pack 3 and also installed Google Chrome on this as well, because Internet Explorer 7 that it had on it does not display websites very well at all. So okay, here we are at the normal Windows XP Logon screen. So if I just click the user here, it should log me in, and this does, like I said, it does sort of boost up quite quickly, although it doesn't have much software on it. So with the specs I would expect it to be reasonably fast, and it is indeed. If I just load Google Chrome up, it should appear reasonably quickly, despite the fact this machine has only just been powered on. Google Chrome is not happy with Windows XP there, and I do actually plan on sticking either sort of Windows 8.1 on here or Windows 10 Technical Preview or something, just to see if that touchscreen will indeed work on a newer version of Windows. But nonetheless, this computer does seem able to stream 720p YouTube without any frame drops at all, and even actually 1080p was quite smooth. So with the DVD output, which I can convert to HDMI, I might stick it behind a television at some point if I decide not to keep using it in the screen that's available, or rather the actual screen that it was fitted in to start with. So all in all, I'm actually pretty pleased with this thing. But actually, just before I end the video, I'll just bring up Device Manager here. So all in all, it is very much just a standard computer really. And yeah, actually I was right, it does have a Firewire bus on it. And yeah, this is just plugged into a very standard monitor, but as you can see there, T7200, and it is very nice and responsive in use as a normal PC really, because those Core 2 Duos were not bad CPUs whatsoever. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video, which may well be tearing apart that device just a little bit more. or rather quite a lot more.